for it.
So I don't really need these.
That one up in
Should I put it on mute? Do you
Nevada,
care?
what I
All right,
won.
cool.
I won the
All
championship.
right,
Yeah.
everybody,
We're on live. Sorry.
we are live. This is William Rochelle, but you can call me Bill. This is the spinoff of UBU Live, which is Cousin Talk. So who we have here today is the phenomenal Miss Deborah Scott.
Ms. with an MS, please.
Meaning she's still single and looking.
Nah, I ain't
The cousin that she grew up with, Jimmy Scott.
Hey.
And then the cousin that I grew up with, Bill Scott.
Right.
So this is the Scott family. And every Saturday I want to, if I can get enough people to willing to join, and I think I will. We have what, 200 cousins?
And counting.
And counting.
So I want to do it every Saturday. And there are a few things that I want to talk about. First off, next week is already confirmed. It is going to be Lisa Landis and CJ.
All right.
Yeah, CJ was going to do today, but he's in Tampa, so that will be next week.
Okay.
Nice.
And him and I spoke shortly. As you guys know, if I haven't spoken to you in a long time, I want the conversation to be live on air so that we can go over all that stuff and it be authentic. I want to take a moment to address the fact that my Aunt Joyce did pass, and that I was very conflicted with it. And I think Debbie probably knows more about this than Jimmy and Bill Scott do. Debbie was not Debbie, sorry, you're still here.
Joyce.
Joyce was, in my opinion, when I was growing up, very sophisticated, beautiful, loving. She was the person that gave us all the Christmas gifts for Christmas. Because my mom was a single mom, and my mom gave us gifts as well. But Joyce really did come through. When I was 16 or 17, Joyce took me on a trip to Hawaii, just me and her. And I was able to talk to her about things that I couldn't talk to my mom about. And I think we all have some, when you're growing up, you all have someone in your life like that, where it's an adult, you don't want to tell your mom, but you can tell Aunt Joyce. And the reason why I was conflicted is because in her final 5 years, she had changed. And not just changed because of physically, I think there was some frustration on her end of being sick.
Yeah.
And so when you get like that, you kind of lash out.
Yeah.
And so I wrote a little piece about her yesterday when I found out, and it made me remember who she was, not the final 5 years,
Right.
And that writing is the way I express myself, and that allowed me to actually release and remember the love and the experience and the person that she was in my life.
Yeah, that's amazing. And she passed on her actual birthday, did she not?
Day after. The day after.
Day after?
Yeah.
Oh.
The day after. Yeah. Her birthday was, give me the dates here. What's today?
26.
She actually, she passed away early in the morning, but it was the day after her birthday.
Mm.
And she turned 80. And next day
we're only a couple months apart.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jimmy and Joyce were my elder.
Who's the oldest cousin among your guys' cousin path? Is it my dad?
No. Oh, you mean the first
Scott?
cousins?
Yeah, your dad.
Yeah.
The first cousins or
Yeah.
that of the first cousin, the oldest was
Donnie.
Steve Jackson, Rufus Jackson. The
Yeah.
third was second. Rufus Jackson, which was known as Ski, was the oldest. Then came cousin. Then came Bobby.
Debbie.
Sorry.
We're
I
not
did
going to
it
do this with you
again.
again.
You're making me
Your
dizzy.
computer is going against you. You keep flipping.
How do I do it? I didn't touch anything.
She's the only person that does this, by the way.
Should we all do that?
No.
How do I
Log
do-
out and log back in.
Okay.
Yeah, because I always thought Donnie of the clan was the oldest right now living, but she's got the chronological history of us all. But of the Scotts, it'd be Poogie, then me,
Yeah.
and then Freddie.
So one of the things that Joyce's passing also did for me was it made me more excited about what we're doing here today, because Bill Scott and I are eventually going to be the elders, you know, and we're going to need to be able to carry our history with us. And I think it's important to understand where we came from. And there you go again, Debbie. People just mention you all the time.
Did I do anything? No.
Can you read the comments?
Yeah.
I don't do nothing to piss anybody off. Kenneth Gunner, I don't know who you are. You get ready to get
Oh, don't get her upset.
I get that Scott temper going.
Yeah, I love Kenneth. So
do you know
he's part of my network. Yes, I do know Kenneth.
I just want to make sure he's known.
Yes, he is a real person.
Okay.
So Debbie, we spoke last week. Bill, we spoke 2 weeks ago. So let's start with Jimmy. So Jimmy, since we last spoke, I think you've gotten remarried.
Yeah.
I think you have another son,
Yes,
Devin. Okay. So tell me what's your life been like in the last, it has to be at least 30 years.
Yes, blessed. Once I came out here to California, you know, a little bit before you and your mother came out, I was in Nebraska. I graduated. I can't even talk. I graduated from the University of Nebraska, where I don't know if you guys knew, but I had a full ride scholarship to play basketball for the school.
I didn't know.
Yeah, and then, let me back up. First of all, when I left Springfield in 1964, I joined the Air Force. And in 1965, they shipped me off to Vietnam, where I was part of the 9th Cavalry Division as a forward observer. As an Air Force guy, I was with them in country, in combat. I got a combat ribbon, I got combat stuff. And then I came back. When I came back to Offutt Air Force Base, Nebraska. And then at that point, the only thing they had going on was basketball. I wanted to play football, but they did stop their football team. Anyway, I started playing ball for them. And it helped me because being as young as I was in the combat, like a lot of guys, I had PTSD as well, pretty bad. And basketball and the service, staying in there, helped me recover. You guys didn't know, but I was not very, very smart. I graduated from Fytchens High School with all D's and 1 C. That was my big grade, and that was in recess. But anyway, I didn't have any intention going to college. Anyway, I'm regressing here. So when I started playing ball for the Air Force, we played in my senior year, or my last year being in the Air Force. I was going to muster out, what they call D-Ross out. We played against Nebraska. And when we did that, they got to see me play, and they offered me a scholarship. And I told them, no, I don't, I'm not smart enough to go to college and all that. At the time, CJ's mother, Connie, said, no, you're going to go. You'll get help. I'll help, all that stuff. I said, okay.
Were you married then, or?
I was married to CJ's mother. Yeah.
Okay.
I got married to her, and right as I got out of the service, and she and I got married in '69, and then I went to college, and because she talked me into going. I didn't realize that, with the help I got, and I actually is not as dumb as I thought I was. I started doing real good in school. Anyway, I graduated from Nebraska. Coach Don Coryell, at San Diego Chargers, asked me to come out and try out with them. So I came out to California, and at the time, my wife, her siblings were out in California, so she was all excited about that, but I did not like California. I got injured against the Oakland Raiders, and I came back to Nebraska. I decided I wasn't going to play football anymore. It could hurt. And then,
So you played with the Oakland Raiders?
No, I played for the Chargers.
You played against the Raiders.
Let me back up.
Oh.
Okay. At the last preseason in 1973, and it was the last preseason of the game. I didn't even really have to go in, but I wanted to get as much time on the field as I could. And at that time, believe it or not, Johnny Unitas, old guy, was there. And he was in that game, and I wanted to catch one of his passes. So I offered up to go, and I did that. He flipped the pass to me, and the rest is history. I got my leg dislocated on that time. So, hi, there's my lovely wife. Rita just came out.
Hi, Rita.
Hey,
There's
Rita.
Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
That's cousin Billy there, and cousin Billy. Yeah, that's Rochelle. That's
Billy and
Barbara.
Billy.
And that's Billy.
Hi, you
Scott.
guys. How are you? I'm not
Good.
looking
How are
at
you
my
doing?
Great. Hi, Rita.
bad hair day.
Us
Me too.
Yeah.
You don't need no hair though.
None
I
of
look
us.
good.
Yeah, they look good.
Hi, y'all. I don't need to-
No, I look good.
Yeah.
Debbie.
So anyway, so I'm getting up to speed there, and then I finally came out to California. I went back to Nebraska, worked there, and then Connie moved out to California with CJ, and I was working for United Parcel Service at the time, and I was the first African American to get the ranking of regional industrial engineering manager for that company.
Wow.
And I'm good. So I was making six figures back then as a young man, and that was not good because I was now getting divorced with my wife. And anyway, so from there, I decided that I needed to go back. I needed to get out to California to help raise my son. I was not going to have him like it was for me. So anyway, in 1980, I moved out here to California. I got hired on the Hughes Aircraft Company as a senior industrial engineering supervisor. Technical lead. And I said if I was worth my salt, I'd go through the ranks. Long story short, I ended up working for them for 33 years. I retired as the senior manager for all their engineering department. And that turned into from Hughes Aircraft Company. General Motors bought out Hughes. Then Raytheon bought out General Motors Hughes, and then I started working for Raytheon. Same company, just kept going up the ranks. So then I retired in 2011. I've been fishing professionally for 20 years. And as most of you guys know, I'm a hunter. I bow hunt. I used to, not anymore. Now I hunt with my rifle. But anyhow, I still do all that stuff, and so that's up to date, I think.
awesome.
Before I forget, your auntie Joyce and your mother, and I don't know if it was. I think it was your brother, your youngest brother, went. I took them up to Snowbird, Utah, so we could ski with Joyce and Harry.
Yeah.
Oh,
I ski a lot. I mean, I used to anyway. I was right there, and me and Joyce and Harry skied a lot before even Barbara came up. Had to talk Barbara into coming anyway, but she
yeah.
came and CJ went. I had CJ there, his friend, your brother, your mother, and her friend and kids. So anyway, I just wanted to hit that in. I wanted to tell you that too. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. So that must have been Justin that
Yeah,
you
Justin.
took up.
Yes.
Yeah. Because Phil and I, Phil's a natural athlete, and it always. Well, I'm not jealous of anybody, but he could just do anything he wants to do, whether it's basketball, baseball, football, skiing, golf. I mean, he's just natural at it. But I know Justin was the one that went. So I remember that you were what I consider to be successful in California. I mean, if you live in California and you can even afford to buy a house, you're doing pretty good. And then to have a boat sitting outside. So how did you become a professional? What is a professional fisherman?
You pay big money to go fish. You pay the money in hopes that you get money back and you can win the big prize and stuff like that. Last year, September, I finally won the championship on Lake Mead, one of the toughest lakes out there.
Wow.
And it was a nice check, But when I first started back in 2000, actually, I didn't start bass fishing professionally until 2002. And on 2004 and 2005, I won. Well, I didn't win. I took second and fifth place. But each one of those, which is in the top 10 of the circuit, my biggest paycheck was just a hair over $90,000 for that tournament.
Wow.
And the other one was 79,000 I won. So at that point in time, I thought, well, yeah, I'm going to keep doing this. And I didn't have sponsors. I was making pretty good money anyway where I was at, so I paid my own way. I didn't want to be responsible and have people telling me, well, I need you to come here and support this product and all that. I didn't want to do that like a lot of guys do. I was blessed that I had a good job and I was at a high enough rank that I could set my own schedule. So that's how that went professionally.
Can I
Got it.
interject that it all started with the shell hole?
Oh yeah. Good old shell hole. Thank you, Betty. Yeah, she's right.
It all started with our grandfather teaching them guys how to fish in was it a shell hole? It was an old.
Yep. As a matter of fact, I think the house was built on part of it.
Yes. Where your mom and I live out in Springfield? That's part of the old shell hole, Billy Rochelle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's where he started fishing.
What is first? Let me address Kenneth real quick. Gregory Spiller has taken a new job, and he is part of UBU Live, which is our Sunday show. This one is Cousin Talk, and Greg's not my cousin, but he cannot make it on Sunday because his schedule has changed. So when his schedule frees up, Greg will be back on the show. So he hasn't been replaced or dismissed. It doesn't fit into his schedule at this moment.
So what you're saying, he doesn't like working with you?
Huh?
He doesn't like working with you?
So
that's what I heard.
So Greg for UBU Live is kind of like you, Bill, for cousin talk. He, you have said I can do it some Saturdays, but I'm not going to commit to every Saturday. I believe that when you're going to do anything like a podcast or yeah, anything, you need to be scheduled, and people
Yeah.
need to understand that you're going to do it on this day at this time. So it's every day, every week at the same time. So tomorrow, I'm going to have a business talk about with recruiters and candidates on how to find jobs because I'm looking for a job, right? So I figured that's a great forum. It's on LinkedIn, so let's get that done. But so he can only do it. He only agreed to do it once a month, and then his and I said I'm going to do it every Sunday because if you do it once a month, then people don't expect it. They don't know. You don't really grab the audience. But if you do it every week, people like either expect it, they know what the format is, they get used to it, and they're more apt to tune in. But he just took something. I don't know exactly what happened, but something happened with this job, and I guess they required him to work on Sundays now.
Okay. Gotcha. I was just giving you a hard time. It seemed like a good opening, so I took it.
Aren't you funny?
But
All right.
going back to what cousin Jimmy was saying, they actually televise fishing tournaments on TV. It's amazing. It's a big time operation.
Yes, multi-billion dollar.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Jimmy, how do you feel? Like you said you're turning 80, right?
Yes, God willing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, God willing.
Well, first of all, you look great. I have to say.
That's what
so,
both of you guys look fantastic.
We got genes.
Don't tell him that.
Yeah.
I still got a little bit of hair.
Oh, now you're showing off.
Let's see again. Take off the hat. Take off the hat.
Woo!
Oh, he does have. Oh, well.
Grace
What the hell?
Just like my mother.
What the hell, Bill?
I don't know. We got screwed.
No, y'all got Mel Scott genes because he got his mother's gene because his mother's hair was that color and very long.
Beautiful hair.
Yeah, he didn't get Scott genes when it came to the hair. Most Mel Scott men were bald.
So, how do you feel? Because I'm 40 now, and I still feel like I'm 20.
Don't believe Don't believe he's.
Like.
Don't believe he's 40.
Mentally.
Okay.
Well,
well,
you're asking me how I
feel younger than that.
Yeah. Well, how I feel, and Debbie can tell you because I've been around her for quite a while. I even used to come to Cincinnati and spend time with those guys, and even when I'd come home, I spend my time with her and her sister. So anyway, I feel great considering, and 2020, believe it or not, right at COVID, I had a heart attack. And I just felt my chest was bothering me a little bit. I had just eaten a hell of a hamburger, and I thought I had indigestion. And so I didn't want to take any chances. Now, I was riding my bike 20, 30 miles a day. And I felt myself being in pretty good shape. I wasn't playing basketball anymore. I played in the City League until I was 67. But anyhow, long story to answer your question, I was feeling great up until the time I had a heart attack, and then I went and checked myself out, and they immediately went to urgent care, and they took my blood pressure, and I said, well, what can I take to get rid of this indigestion? He says, no, you're having a heart attack right now. You got 250 over 230 pressure going on, and she said, and he said, you're going straight to emergency. So they put me in the ambulance and took me, and I was in the hospital for 4 days. But when they went in to check and see what was blocking it up and causing me to have this problem, the doctor came in, and I thought they were going to stent me, and on the third day, I guess it was, they went in and looked to see. He came back, long story short, he just came back and said, Mr. Scott, he says, we can't stent you. He says, we're going to try to medicate you so that we can drop your pressure down and maybe it'll go away. He said, because if we have to go in, we're going to have to do open heart. He said, but your heart is so strong said, I think you can beat it. So that was 2020, and I've been taking meds ever since. And it slowed me down considerably in terms of, I used to backpack up in the Sierras all the time. I don't do that anymore. When I go hunting now, I go with an outfitter, and I get in there, and I don't hunt with my bow anymore. So it slowed me down. To answer your question, how I feel, I still feel pretty good, but it does keep me on my toes in terms of checking myself, so I don't overdo something.
Got it. So go back for a second, Jimmy, because not everyone's as educated as you are. When you say you go with an outfitter, what does that mean? Did that mean
I'm sorry.
You wear a really pretty dress, or
yeah?
Yes, he does too. No.
I have one on right now. No, an outfitter is a person that runs a hunting camp, that you go to their place, they feed you, they house you, and they take you out to the field where the animals are. And it's fair chase. They don't tie them up, not yet anyway. But you have to physically go out and hunt them. And once you find the one you want, then you try to dispatch him, and that becomes what you take back with you. And I don't hunt anything that I don't eat. Everything that I've ever killed, all the life that I've been hunting for almost 75 years almost, has been.
You've been hunting since you were 5 years old?
No, 10. I actually killed my first deer at 10 years old with a bow. In Springfield and at the shell hole.
At the shell hole.
Yeah, when you said, yep, that was my first kill, and I was 10. So I've been hunting a little bit before that. Grandpa Scott really inspired me with his stories. He was a talker, like the rest of the Scotts are. When my cousin and I get on the phone, it is like I have to tell her bye because my face is falling off. I laugh so hard. So anyway, yeah. So that's how I get.
Can't talk about that, Jimmy. We can't talk about that.
Yeah, I know I keep getting off subject, but yeah, I'm feeling pretty good.
No. Do you be you? That's the whole purpose of this. Can you guys see the comments that appear on the screen?
Yep.
Oh, I see it now.
A day over 60. Thank you.
He 80. Trust me.
Oh yeah, he looks good, but I don't know about 60, so I don't,
Well, I'm not going to brag about it, but even everybody that I fish against, they can't believe I'm as old as I am, because they, a lot of the guys my age are not able to do what I do. So,
but you know what? The Scots live like forever. Forever.
Well, and they don't show their age.
Yeah, right. That's true.
Your grandmother, our Aunt Emma,
mm-hmm.
when she had to go into a nursing home, and they giving her therapy and stuff, Barbara had to go in and tell them she can't do these exercises because she's a 90-year-old woman, and they thought she was in her 70s.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They thought she was in, and your grandmother hair was jet black. She never dyed her hair, and it was jet black.
She kept me laughing.
And Emma.
And Emma was hilarious. Yeah, absolutely.
Believe you me, we know.
When I went to see her in the nursing home, this was maybe 2 months before she died, and I'm so glad I got that chance to do it. Because sometimes we go years without seeing each other.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she said, "I ain't never seen a man so fat with such little feet."
Oh wow, that's a hard blow.
Wow.
So there are two things there.
Wow, I love that.
That was Aunt Emma, yeah.
It was a double whammy.
Yeah, they don't hold any back. They don't hold anything back. And if you can't take it, you might as well leave the room.
Yeah.
That's true. Like my grandfather he could be pretty harsh and pretty direct. Yeah.
Buzz?
Oh yeah.
The
Oh yeah.
if we got your grandfather and his grandmother together, Aunt Emma and Uncle Buzz.
Oh my gosh.
First of all, nobody's getting the word in.
No,
Nobody.
Mm-mm.
that's why I said that's them Scots.
And it's just it's nonstop. It's non. In fact, my brother used to make fudge, and he would give his aunts and uncles fudge for Christmas. Aunt Emma and Uncle Buzz would sit up there and count the pieces. Sure,
See who had the most.
nobody got.
They used to go back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But she used to say that was her twin, and they
Yeah.
did look just alike.
Yeah.
Like if
yeah.
you put a wig on Uncle Buzz, it would be Emma.
I don't think you're gonna get away with that. I don't think you're gonna try that with Uncle Buzz. No.
Well, he's passed away.
Yeah.
They're both gone.
It'd be kind of awkward now.
Yeah. But he was what, 93, 4 somewhere?
I don't know how
Something
old
like
he
that.
was when he passed
He
away.
was 90 plus. I know that.
Yes, he was. Yes, he
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
Because my mother just died. She was 97.
Right. And my mom
And
and
Emma
dad
was
92,
90.
93.
She was 96 or 7 herself, wasn't she?
And Emma was what, 97 or 90? Was getting ready to turn 98?
Yes.
I think
Right.
so. And Emma had just turned 90. Was 97, getting ready to turn, because she died in March, and she would have been 98 in her birthday. Yeah.
So Bill Scott's not going to remember this, but he's an evil son of a bitch. When we were
I'm a Scot.
kids,
Yeah.
Let it
when we were children, he called me stupid because he said he hated the fact that everyone had nicknames. And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Do you think my grandfather was born Buzz and Poogie and Tooks?" So I was like, "Oh, what are their names?" So I just thought
You
that
didn't know their real names?
no, I was a kid. I was like Uncle Buzz.
Oh.
Buzz is William. That's where I get my name.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm trying to strong arm my kids that when they have children, one of them needs to be a William. So every other generation, keep the William thing going.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
Bill
and
Scott,
Poogie,
do you
I don't
wanna,
know where that even came from, to be honest. I
Because
have no idea where that came from.
he actually sent me a message and signed it Uncle Poogie.
Yeah.
Oh, you
do
talking
you-
about Poogie? I don't know
Yeah.
where Poogie came from.
William,
Way
Yeah,
back.
do you
I
want
have
to
no idea
read?
where it came from. But
William,
no one calls him Charles.
No,
No
we
one
don't
calls
know.
him by his name at all.
There was
I
too
didn't even
many
know who Charles was. Like
Are you
when someone
serious?
said it. Yeah, like it didn't click.
Did you know my brother's name was Charles?
Mhm.
Nope.
Oh, I did.
I did.
Yeah.
I knew
Yeah,
it was
well,
Goomy.
Yeah. Goom. Yeah, everybody knew Goomy.
Goomy,
So
but
Bill,
he's done.
Bill was born in a house that we used to live in on Short Monroe.
Yep.
Yeah. My mom and dad, actually, here I go, historian here.
Yes.
They had that house built. Daddy got on the police force. Mary Jane and Nick moved in. Then for a hot minute, her sister, what's her name? What's Mary Jane's sister's name? I can't think of. Anyway, they moved in for a hot minute. We came back. We stayed in there until I was in the 6th grade. When we moved out, Poogie and your wife Jerry moved in.
My
So that
mom,
was a
yeah.
Scott house. Yeah, and,
Yeah.
and you were born in that house.
Yeah.
inside the house or inside the hospital?
No, inside the hospital, sweetheart.
Whatever.
Okay.
Shut
All
up.
And now it's a park.
Yeah.
So
I saw that.
Yeah.
Bill Scott, do you want to read the comment and respond to Mr. Dunner?
Well, actually, this is one of the most spot on comment. Well, and it's true because earlier in the session you said you're 40, so you are a liar. I mean, so judging on our last conversation when we were small, is it safe to say that you're dumb and a liar? I don't know.
Tell him, Bill. Tell him.
Wow. Wow. Dumb and a liar. Oh, you're special.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Bill,
I got you, cousin. I got you.
They're a year apart. Same month
Oh.
too, right?
Yeah.
Both born in June. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
And I still remember his mom's license plate. It was GDS 666. And
Oh, wow.
and I asked her what it meant, and she said, "Goddamn Scott."
Probably.
Oh man.
And then Bill's birthday.
Okay, now you just told on yourself. Now we
No,
go.
Bill's birthday.
Yeah, but we know what your birthday is too, because you're a year younger than he is.
No, I'm not. I'm 10 to 20 years younger than he is.
God, don't even try.
Oh, here is that the lie that we've been hearing about?
Shut up, Jimmy.
I'm 40.
So
I can't believe your grandmother said that about you. Now, remember that Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down?
Yeah.
I just think about Weeble. Or like a penguin,
Yeah, boy.
That's a good one, Bill. That's a good one.
So, Bill,
No,
Scott, hey,
yes.
are you still working?
Oh yeah, I am. I feel like I've had like 3 careers. I got out of college. I went to Illinois State and got out, and I did political PR. And I worked for a few politicians. And I was working for someone that was running for Cook County State's attorney, and then we were doing pretty well. But then I got a call from a reporter to comment on my own firing. So I'm like, might be time to get out of politics.
Yeah.
Then I did just straight public relations like on the corporate side, and just I was all about billable hours, and had a young family then. It just wasn't working out. And then I was in the restaurant business for a long time, like at least for like over 20 years.
Wow.
But the hours, and then I got out of the restaurant business right before COVID really hit. So I actually worked for an agency called Pace Suburban Bus. It's transportation, and I'm a project manager. So I'm the business side of the transportation agency. So it's cool. Great benefits, quality of life. I'm enjoying it.
Are you still in
That's
Chicago?
I'm still in Chicago. Yeah. I was
That's
married
interesting.
for almost 20 years. Go ahead.
How did you transfer from the restaurant industry to a project manager for transportation?
Well, to be honest, if you're a restaurant general manager, you juggle so many balls. You really touch everything. You have so many.
Right.
You really do.
Good resume.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I feel like I'm a Swiss Army knife.
There you go.
Just plug me in and
Something will pop
do
up.
whatever. Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
Have the
Okay.
tool to handle it.
But I will say the one thing that we all have in common, especially the Scots. I was always been kind of quiet because my grandfather, my dad would just drown me out. But the Scots can communicate, and I feel it's that communication that makes us successful. And I'll give Billy his props. You're a great moderator. You have really amazing social skills, and you're a natural at this. So, and I think we all have that ability.
Yeah.
Don't you
I-
ever compliment
this is
me
what I told my
again.
son. So my
Ever.
son, he just accepted. He's going to go to Denison University, which is in Columbus. He was offered a chance. He didn't secure his enrollment, but he was offered a chance to interview face to face. So we drove 6 hours each way for a half an hour interview. And I honestly believe if my son gets a face to face interview, no matter what it is, he will land that job, that enrollment, whatever, because
Right.
there's that Scott thing in him. Just like he has the gift of gab.
Yeah.
Good
yeah,
communicator. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's,
We do have
I
that
hired
gift there.
I hired hundreds and hundreds of engineers, MITs, PhDs, and guys like that. And what I looked for was a persons, whoever it may be, that had a diverse background.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I could do, just like you said, the Swiss Army knife. A lot of guys saying, well, I'm a 4.0, at MIT. And that I said, okay, what else did you do besides going to school and graduating with high degrees? Well, not really. This would be my first job. Okay, good. Thanks. Nice talking to you. See you. Boom. So, I mean, and when I look at resumes, well, of course, they are always screened before they came to me anyway, because of one, the job I had. I worked for the Department of Defense, pretty much, a private company, of course, and we had all these, F-15, F-14. I was managing all that, Global Hawk, Predator, all that was under my privy. And then I when I went to get my master's at USC and go for the management side, I learned a little bit more. One thing that I found out as being a Scot, you guys know I can talk almost as much as Debbie, but anyway, I learned to listen more than anything, and I think we not only do we communicate well, but I think we listen pretty well too. So, anyway,
Yeah.
I thought I'd throw that in there.
So
That's why
so
you guys
so
are good.
that's why we're what?
It's in your DNA, man, to be that way.
Yeah.
Our DNA.
Yeah.
I didn't know
I
I had
agree.
that. I'm serious. I was a moron. All
No.
up to my
I think you're being a little hard on yourself, Jimmy.
well,
Yeah,
Well, I still
Bill Scott's the moron. I mean, come on. Don't
I'll
No
leave
one
it
believes
alone
that,
right
Billy.
there.
Nice try.
I've talked too
Don't-
much
don't-
already.
don't take his box. You know, that's where he fits. Jimmy, so
Yeah.
being with the Department of Defense or working alongside of them, what are your thoughts on the current Department of Defense and how it's operating?
Oh, listen. No, it's a all zero to me because, first of all, any of us that pledged through the Constitution of the United States and said I will, anybody that works in that kind of environment, that's what they do. They swear that they're going to uphold that. The guys that go
Foreign
in there,
and domestic, right? Foreign and domestic.
absolutely. And those guys that actually work that type of environment must have some type of experience and background in that kind of environment. Now we have people being put in there that don't have a clue of what's supposed to happen other than what they think should happen. And that's why we are now, our Department of Defense is lousy.
This is
Here.
Donna, everyone.
Hi. Sorry.
Hey, Donna. Ask Donna about the recruiter that she was going to give my resume to.
Yeah. We'll talk. I need to get you Bill's resume to get to your recruiter friend.
Yeah,
She
he's
used it
actually
for
out
kindling.
for
I forgot, but yeah.
You
Yeah.
forgot?
Yes.
She
I
used it to
thought-
start a fire.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here drinking hot water as dinner, and you forgot to give her my resume?
I thought you were just joking that you were unemployed. I didn't know. I thought you were just kidding.
I like telling people I'm retired.
Oh,
It sounds better.
So he already gave it to you?
Yeah, he gave it to me. Oh, thanks. You got me in trouble with Donna now.
Just give him my email and you can forward it directly to me.
Yeah.
Thank you,
okay.
Donna,
There you go.
because you're obviously I'm unimportant to you. Anyway,
He's a slacker.
Poor thing.
he is a slacker. Go on, Donna.
They're not
Actually,
getting-
Bill, why don't you leave and put Donna on?
My God. Jeez.
And I have a question to ask Jimmy about this, the military, insofar as what the administration is going through right now. And it comes to my mind that that man might try and use the military to enforce some of the stuff that he wants done. Can the military refuse?
Well, it all depends on the leadership of that military. You get the young people that have been trained to obey orders, and especially for the the president, who is the commanding chief.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, it's hard to say. When you go through the doctrine of getting in the military and learning to obey the orders that you're given, no matter what, even if it costs you your life, it's hard to break that for
Okay.
all those 200 plus years we've been into this situation. And then you get somebody out there that's a real moron, trying to run the country like this, and he says, go do this. You have to have a strong leadership in the military that would say, well, let's hold off, or no, we're not going to do it. So what he did do, if you notice, is all those that would have given him that kind of
He got-
pushback are fired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Generals, admirals, rear admirals, 4-star generals. One, their color. Two,
Yeah.
those that were hardcore, constitutional driven.
Yeah.
We swear to abide by the Constitution of the United States. Gone. So now it's all predicated on what we, the people, do.
Yeah.
As long as we, the black people, don't get in those crowds, because the minute that happens, he's going to call out
That's what I
martial
was.
law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll call martial law then,
Yeah.
because
That's
one
what I
thing.
thought.
Yeah. So
That's
anyway,
what-
that's me. That's what I think.
Okay, so between the three of you guys, I need one of you guys to answer or respond to the question at the bottom. Who wants to take it?
What?
It's not really a question. No. I mean, literally, it's not a question.
Yeah.
Okay, well, who wants to respond to it?
I don't even
First
know
of
who-
all, who is this dude?
Yeah.
I want to know who he is.
I don't know who
He-
he-
Where does
he-
he have the credentials to challenge what we do?
Tell him,
That's my
cuz.
point.
Tell him, 'cause he answered,
Yeah.
who are you?
Is he a Scott, and does he
No.
have the same DNA that we have that would do this kind of thing?
Sounds like you
I
could
don't
be
think
though.
so.
I don't know about that. He ain't got no. His skin ain't as tough as us because he ain't gone through it.
Oh yeah, man. No. Yeah. I'm
But-
just curious.
So, do you guys think I talk too much?
No,
No.
you don't talk as much.
You
as
got
us
it's in your DNA, just like I said. You can't help yourself.
Can't help.
None of us.
do. Hey,
We-
you don't. You, in fact, you're one of the quieter ones.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're a good-
I
you're a
think I
good
may have to
listener.
disagree. I think my dear cousin William likes to hear his own voice sometimes.
Yeah, but
Oh,
he's
I
not-
do.
Yeah, but he doesn't do it constantly. We have some of them that do it constantly.
What was the advice I offered you about interviewing, cousin?
Which
Like he
one?
told, he's such an asshole. So he told me I was arrogant.
You are.
Hmm.
What
You
does
don't
that
want
mean?
Well, you don't want to go into an interview being arrogant, that's for sure.
What does that mean? How am I arrogant?
I mean, admit what you are. If you're arrogant, you're arrogant. Ain't nothing wrong.
I'm not
You're a
arrogant.
little bit of a name dropper. I'm just saying, you know.
Tell him, Bill. Tell him.
Oh wow.
We say this out of love. That's all.
Yeah. We wouldn't tell you if we didn't love you. We still hang with you, don't we?
I remember this. I remember so Justin and I are Justin is 10 years older than me.
Justin is
And
younger than you. Don't you try that. Don't you try.
and we were at Uncle Harry's funeral, and somehow it was me and Justin and Debbie in the car driving to the airport, I think.
Yeah.
And Debbie got so annoyed with me and Justin's banter because we don't stop and we just joke and we can play off each other really, really good. And you got annoyed. It was the only time I've ever seen you get annoyed.
Oh, you ain't been around me long enough then. I get annoyed real easy. Ask Jimmy.
I know.
I don't even remember that, Billy. I really don't.
It was just
I mean,
It's
I don't
just one of
remember what I said. What did I say? Are you sure I was annoyed or just fed up?
it was something like can you guys just settle down, or basically you told us to shut up
Okay, that's.
in a kind way.
Oh, I did it kind
And
Kind?
it
Was that
was
Debbie in
stern.
the call?
No,
it must have been tired.
Yeah, you must.
it was stern. It
Oh,
was
okay.
it was stern because we did shut up. Right. So it wasn't like a polite, oh, excuse me, guys. No, it was like, right, this is too much. Y'all need to shut up. Like, be quiet.
Okay, that's normal. That's normal.
I had another question for Jimmy.
Uh-oh.
Well, because I rarely get to speak to him. So
Lucky.
Tony was on the show last week,
Right.
and one of the things he spoke about was, I think your dad and not being around.
Yes,
Mm.
that's true. He wasn't.
Yeah.
Matter of fact,
So
he disowned me. He said I wasn't his son. In my face. At 10. I'll never forget it, ever, ever, ever. But
that stays with you for that. It's weird. I remember things from between 8 and 12. I remember things granularly that affected me.
Yeah.
right.
And
Yeah,
and I've had to release it, but yeah, that's some shit.
Well,
But I heard that also that you were the father figure for the entire family.
I was.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was.
She
He
came-
was. Yeah, until this day, he still is. Until
Still,
this,
yes.
yeah, until
Yeah,
this day.
we all met over Debbie and Uncle Charlie and Aunt Joanne's house that one time. We were up there for the reunion, and my mother was needing help, and my siblings, I had to get all over their case. That's another story, but my dad, going back to him, and his last several months of him going before he went totally, lost his head, going on the dementia and all that got him. He called and asked me if I'd come and help him because Evelyn's granddaughters were coming and wiping him out, and I said, "Tough titty, kitty." But my wife Rita and my cousin Ellen jumped over and said, "Jimmy, he needs your help. Forget about all that. Come and help him." So for 2 or 3 years, I think it was, and give my wife credit, we all went to Apache Junction where he lived, and Ellen was there, and I was there. I don't know if Debbie, you came at any
No,
one
I
time.
was no, I never
Yeah,
came.
but
Ellen was taking care of his paying his bills and stuff, taking care of his finances.
yes,
Because it
all
was
that.
getting out of hand. But yeah,
Yeah, so
Jimmy, he stepped in. and did
yeah,
what he
I showed
did.
up and took over and started and ran those other kids out of Dodge because they were really going in to take his money. Which what's her name? I don't remember her name. Went to the
Donna?
bank. Is that her name, Donna?
What,
Probably.
was
the
it
oldest one.
Evelyn's daughter or her granddaughter?
Her good question.
Her daughter
I
was
thought it
Donna. Her daughter
Yeah,
is Donna. Her granddaughter was Sharon.
I think it was Donna, her daughter.
Okay.
Yeah. Because she lives just outside of Chicago, whoever that is. That's what they said she was. Anyway, but anyway, long story short, she had come in and went to the bank and told the banker that Dad had given her the authority to sign off and get the money out for him, and she wanted cash. Well, fortunately, my dad, when I finally went around and started coming out there, he took me to the bank, introduced me to the guy in the bank, because my dad worked at that bank. He was their little janitor. They gave him a little job. Anyway, my dad said he's going to be taking care of all the stuff for me. So the guy said, yeah. So when she came, thank you. When she came back, we were there, and the banker told her, he says, "Have you talked to this gentleman here?" And it blew her away when she saw me standing there.
Oh wow!
And I told her, I said,
That's
"Have you-"
interesting.
So anyway, yeah.
What's terrible to me is for some reason families get destroyed over money at death, and that shouldn't happen. Bill Scott, would you like to respond to this one?
Uh-oh. What?
Kenneth's being a comedian now. What I want to talk about, Jimmy, is you and your cousins. I somewhat remember a little bit because I was really young, when you guys all came back from Vietnam. Pablo, you, my uncle Chris,
Ready?
Freddie, yeah, you guys had a period of adjustment. And I remember because y'all came back militant, beards and froze.
Big afro.
Yeah,
Oh,
looked
yeah.
like
Oh,
Black
yeah.
Gorilla Family. Like they were like, damn,
Yeah.
yeah,
We were badasses, buddy.
yeah, the cousins, yeah.
At least we thought we were.
They thought they were.
Yes, you're right, Billy. You're right.
How long did it take you to get your head back on right? Whether it's like meeting Rita, like I know my cousin Chris met my Aunt Kathy, and that's what did it for him. He met that someone, or he had some epiphany in life that really, okay, now I can kind of let that go and deal appropriately with my PTSD or whatever, but life goes on. I don't know if was there a moment, was there a process?
Process.
But
Some
was
of them
Chris
are still
ever?
some of them are still going through it.
Yeah.
I always remember Chrissy as being very, very mild mannered. I don't ever remember him being erratic like Ronnie
but
or
he still, I mean, he was still in country, but he came back though. He came back jacked. Like he went there as a skinny baby-faced kid, but he came back like big.
Yeah, he did.
Well,
but not mentally, not.
Yes, he was.
He was.
Yes, he was.
He was.
He bought a motorcycle.
Mhm.
Started running the streets with my dad. He
went wild for a minute. That was a part of
Yeah,
that.
because they even lived together for a minute.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. I remember he used to come over there, and Christy he had this reel to reel, and it played constant music.
Yeah.
It would play 24/7. It never stopped.
Yeah.
It was an adjustment, and it was hard for us younger cousins to watch him go through it. But I think that's the one thing that our family has. We always rally around each other. Because I'd like to interject, when Jimmy had to step in as father figure for his family, he was blessed with uncles that supported him.
Oh,
And
boy.
stood behind-
Uncle
and
Charlie?
stood
Oh,
behind-
yes. Uncle
Because
Buzz?
that was their brother who left them like that. But they stood in place of that. As our cousins, Jimmy, Freddie, Christy, Pablo, as they came from, because my dad was in the service too. So, and he went through the Korean War. Wasn't that what? Yeah.
Right.
And he, had experienced, what they went through. So he could relate to these guys and help settle them down a lot. I'm not bragging on my dad, but
No.
he understood. He understood what these guys were going through, and he kept a stern hand on them.
Oh, boy. He kept it straight. I tell you that.
Yeah.
I know.
But
He and I used to sit there and go back and forth, but I'd always lose.
but that's
So having the connection in Springfield with all your uncles, your elders, when you guys came back, got it. But my dad was in Vietnam too, but he came back as a heroin addict.
He wasn't the only one.
He wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't. The only
Listen, a lot of the guys, and I didn't deal with the heavy drugs, but I smoked that Thai stick and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Only thing that straightened me out while I was in country. Well, first of all, let me back up. When I was in country, about 2 months in country, we had to do a resupply, and I flew with the First Air Cav, so we were helicopter on the slicks all the time. So I flew out on the door gunner and all that bull crap. But anyway, we went up to Da Nang. When I got to Da Nang, I said, oh man, I get to go to the BX. So we didn't have a BX. I was on a fire base. So I was in the jungle. I was in the Idrain jungle. So I ran up to the BX, and I'm just sharing with this. And this Marine lieutenant hollered, Scott, what the hell you doing here? And I said, hey, somebody from Springfield probably. I said, how do you recognize me? So I turned around. I didn't know who he was, a white boy. He said, what the hell are you doing here? You supposed to be going on and on. I said, what are you talking about? Then he stopped. He said, whoa. He said, you're not Fred Scott. Hell no, I'm not Fred Scott. I'm James Scott. He says, he looked at me and he turned red. He said, oh my God. He said, is Fred Scott a new relation? I said, that's my brother. He said, he just left. He just left on a mission. That's how close my brother and I came together in a war zone.
Yeah.
And we never did hook it. But when Freddie found out that I was there, he went to his base commander there and told him that to send him home because he had his oldest brother in country and there shouldn't be two brothers in the same war zone.
Yeah.
He said, so it was so funny. So the whoever's commanding officer was there said, well, why would we send you home and not him? He said, because he just got here.
If I remember right, I remember
so
Freddie
crazy.
saying that he was in Laos before the war broke out. Maybe I'm wrong, but I remember him telling me that.
Yeah, well, Freddie, embellishes a lot of stuff. So no, Freddie was a Marine.
That's a Scott thing too, by the way.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
We
it
do
is.
embellish,
Don't believe everything.
but it was
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, no, it's
Don't
my
believe
brother
everything
is,
comes out of
piece
Freddie's
of
mouth.
work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Freddie he stretches the truth quite a lot. And
Quite a lot.
it's fascinating to listen to him though.
Oh man, he's got some stories.
Yeah,
real
he can
stories,
tell you some stories though.
But he was actually in the jungle.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
was.
just like I was. I mean, I don't know if you guys ever saw the show Once We Were Soldiers or something like that.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
Mel Gibson. Okay.
Yeah.
That was in 1965, November. I was in the same location, but not in the LZ. That was the 7th Cavalry. I was with the 9th. But I was up at Bang Sang. I'll just share this with you. They were down, LZ's Zebra was in the Crow's Foot, right out just below Cambodian border. That's where we were. That was our AO, area of operation. So we were on the slicks when that took place. I was not in that battle, but I was there listening to that battle, loading up the slicks to go help them out.
Yeah.
What we ended up doing is leaving there and going to I think it was LZ Albany. And we landed outside of Albany, thank God, because the guys that were in Albany were getting wiped out.
Wow.
I would have been in
Wow.
that group. Not that I didn't get shot up, and I didn't get hit, but we were always shot up and blowed up and everything like that. So, but yeah, it was.
I want to come back to Vietnam, but
Yeah,
for a second,
yeah.
I want to give some praise. Bill just came off of a university tour with Ryan, and I want to hear about that. And we know what school he's going to. That's exciting. And Olivia, who I spoke to or texted for the first time, she is at the University of Michigan, but currently she's doing a European tour.
Yep.
So that's just indicative of what a great parent he is and how strong and how far we've come
Yeah.
as a people, as a group.
Mhm.
And I get very tired of hearing the message that Black people are welfare recipients
Yeah.
when they're
Yeah. Exactly.
and first of all, there's nothing wrong if someone needs help, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But
No, we were there. I mean, I was. I know.
but my family, me, all of us
Mhm.
are not exceptions. We're actually the rule.
Right.
I mean, we're not exceptions.
But you don't
The
see
exceptions are the ones. But where do they find these people on TV, on the news, with no teeth? And
They look for him. They look for
Yeah.
They look for him.
They
Exactly.
want, that's what they want to portray us as that.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
It's
Right.
it's another form of
Exactly.
slavery. It's another form of slavery.
I'm always like, where do they find these people? And
With the messed up names and stuff, right? I mean,
yeah,
Yeah, they need to go up into the Blue Ridge Mountains and get some of them rednecks.
Hey, hey, come back.
Shut up, Jimmy. You're gonna get me canceled.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize. That's me. I'm sorry. I tell him that's me.
That made me miss my next question.
I'm sorry. I shut up.
What all you say was. Come on.
I don't even know what my next question was. But Bill, kind of talk to us about Ryan and Olivia and what they're doing and how proud you are as a dad. And
Sure.
what we should expect from them.
You know, I think I got married relatively later in life, like at 35. So my kids are a lot younger than me. But I think it was a time where I was ready to be a father. So, hey, it worked out. But, and I'll give my ex-wife a lot of credit. We actually co-parent really, really well because the kids are the priority.
Yeah.
So they grew up in suburban Chicago in Oak Park, which is a pretty liberal suburb. You get a little bit of everything. We strive for the best. You know, the goal was always, I kind of look at it as progress. So when I graduated from high school, I was going to college, but I could really only afford to go to a state school. So it was my goal for my kids to graduate. If they wanted to go out of state or wherever, we would make that happen. It was just all about progress. So my daughter got into University of Michigan, great school, obviously. And she had a chance to travel abroad for this whole semester.
Wow.
And she's making the most out of it. Every weekend, she's either traveling on her own and meeting friends, or there's school-sponsored trips. So this past weekend, she was in Morocco for like 3 days. So her passport is being stamped appropriately.
Cool.
You know, what I would love to talk to her about is what she's hearing about the United States
over there.
from the other side.
Yeah.
Because I believe that we're a joke. I mean, I believe on the national stage we are no longer the leader.
Right.
And we're an island of ourselves. And this whole like macho man bullying bullshit is going to backfire on us completely.
Yeah. I know it would be interesting to hear her thoughts. Now, I will say that she's not the kind of person that would say, no, I'm Canadian. You know, she'll say, yeah, I'm from the United States. I love my country. I have disagreements, but you know, she'll embrace her identity as being an American citizen, but she will definitely acknowledge and share her thoughts on maybe what some of the issues are from her perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Why would I didn't even assume that she would say that she was Canadian.
Well, you read stories, and there are a lot of people doing that when they travel abroad.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
People are not kind to Americans anymore. They just
We're not kind to people.
That's why they're not kind to us anymore.
You know,
and a time when we did have respect and were treated better. Well, not better, but were treated very fairly. Nowadays, when you travel abroad, you meet a lot of resistance and a lot of negativity.
So I heard a man from China make a statement, and I fully agreed with it. He said, the United States needs to stop talking about China negatively, because it was the wealthiest businesses in America that sent the jobs to China.
Yeah.
And closed down the manufacturing. They sent because they wanted cheap labor. And China took that money they invested it in the education of their children. Mm-hmm. They invested it in their infrastructure, and they invested it in improving the way of life for the Chinese people. Mm-hmm. And he said those same millionaires in America brought private planes and yachts. Mm-hmm. And have not done anything to educate their kids. I think we have the worst education system compared to other countries. We just defunded Head Start, and we're
real quick, Bill. First of all, it's not us. It's not us. It's him.
Right.
I think that's something that needs to be clarified. That's not America. That is not America. Right now, we are going through a change that this one person is giving us a bad name. I do believe that there are a lot of heads of countries that understand what's going on, and they don't necessarily blame the country.
Right, because Canada has said that.
They blame who's in power. And what is also happening is those people who put him in power are now realizing the error that they did that happened. So I
But they've given him so, but Debbie, they've given him so much power that it's going to be hard to unravel what he's doing,
depends
and
on
it's
who
going
you
to
get
be,
next. It depends on
and it's going to be hard to get him out, because right now the Supreme Court has backed most of the things that he's going to do. They've also said no to some things, but as far as his power, I think there were three big things that came in front of them, and they all sided with Donald Trump.
when was this and what was
Like
it?
last week.
Was it? Because
Mhm.
everything I've seen so far, they have not backed him. But
So it's the federal courts haven't backed him.
well, I
The
know
Supreme
but
the Supreme Court has overturned some of the things that the
Yeah.
federal court said no
But
to.
there's also some dissension in the Supreme Court. I know that
yeah.
apparently Kavanaugh and Chief Justice Roberts are having some issues. And this whole talk about a third term is really setting people off of both parties.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, whether you're Republican or Democrat or Independent, you know,
I think what
our
has
Constitution says 2 terms of
Right.
office,
And I
nothing
think,
about 3.
yeah, and I think a lot of those Republicans they're realizing what he is doing to their, their terms in office. What they had planned on having for years and years is now being subjected to question because you're the ones giving this man this power. What makes you think we're going to put you back into power? Okay, because
I wish we could. I wish we could. I wish that we, as the country, could get rid of, first of all, Clarence Thomas, that coon. He is the worst representative of our community.
Talk
that
about
there
black
is.
self-hatred. My God.
Right?
Ah,
Yeah.
he's
Like
not a
him.
representative of us at all. He's not.
No. No.
He's not.
Him, Candace Owens. Do you know who she is?
No.
Jimmy, do you know who Candace Owens is?
No.
No, y'all don't watch enough. Bill, you do.
look it up.
When you're talking
Look,
about politics like this, it just grinds me. It brings up my PTSD. I'll put it like that.
okay, I'll stop then. All right.
Yeah, we went through this last week. Jimmy and I, we've been through this.
Okay. All right.
Been through this, and it's y'all's turn. Y'all get out there and
Well, it's no offense, Billy William. It's no offense to you and wanting
No.
to explain and get understanding about all this, but for me, it's a moot point because he's there, and unless something happens where they impeach his behind, he's going to be there, and we're going to have to deal
Right.
with this for a long time. And at the rate it's going, we're not gonna, nobody's going to want to be messing with the United States. We're going to really suffer big time.
I
So,
agree.
Anyway, the thing I'm looking for is what are they going to do to correct the course of this whole process?
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
what I want to hear.
Good
Okay,
point.
so I said my piece.
No, good. This is cousin talk, but it's part of UBU Live, which is be yourself.
Well, because we
And
talk
if
politics sometimes, we talk religion sometimes. We talk
yeah, but he also, I mean,
neighborhood.
if it brings up something
Mhm.
that
Can I
you know,
see
I
your
don't want to do that. Yeah.
Oh, no.
So
You pick whatever.
But don't let me stop the conversation if that's what you want to go to. I can deal with
No,
it.
no, 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 no. I mean,
Sometimes-
you're right, because that's a conversation that can go on forever. Let's finish up with Ryan and the university tour.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. So was it? I guess was it just last weekend I was there, or was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Last
Yeah.
week.
Last weekend.
All right. So so he had done this interview, where we traveled 6 hours each way for like a half-hour meeting, and like we talked about the Scots and their face-to-face ability. I think that's what got him admittance. So that's just kind of the first step. So okay, but he didn't commit right away. So it's like, okay, we want you to come here. We want you to come here, and then came the financial aid package. So he got a hefty scholarship, and he also got an endowment. So then we went back to Denison and said, well, this is our number one choice.
Explain to everyone what an endowment is.
Sure. So besides his scholarship, they gave him more money to attend the school.
Okay.
All right. Based on his interests, his past academic record. So he got a scholarship plus this endowment. And we also went back then and we hit him up for a little bit more. So basically he's going to go to Denison University, which is a small liberal arts school in Granville, Ohio, right by Columbus, for the cost of going to U of I. So he's basically getting almost in-state tuition to go to this small school. But it was the first time that we were able to actually, and I think that's the difference, is it's a private school.
What's the name of the school?
Denison.
Oh, Dennis. I've heard of Dennis.
Yeah. So we could actually negotiate with them, which is refreshing,
Yeah.
Well, it's like, you want us to come here, you like him, can you do a little bit more? So that was a cool process to see it. And he finally, actually just 2 days ago, he finally declared and made it official. Yes, I'm going there. So it's bittersweet because he's my youngest, and I think I will cry like a baby when I have to drive away. But it's also amazing to see him come into his own. And I think leaving home is important for everyone to really grow up. So
Yeah.
it's exciting.
That's
Yeah.
great. Congratulations.
Yeah, you should definitely have both of them on. I think they would fight if they're on together though. So you may have to split them up.
No.
He has relatives in that area.
Well,
Yeah,
in
because
fact,
Tony
actually,
was.
Tony reached out to me.
Well,
Actually,
Jimmy's
yeah, because
son-
Tony lives in Columbus, and he said he has a lot of journalism contacts, and we're close by. Whatever you guys need, whatever Ryan needs, Tony reached out like right away. So I mean, that's the beauty of family. I love it.
Jimmy's son lives in Columbus too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, Devin's there, so he's got family, and then you got Georgia in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is whenever Ryan's ready to come on, I'll have Tony come on.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
So then that'll be a great connection
Yeah.
and a great talk, and then Ryan will feel more comfortable
Yeah.
with reaching out to Tony.
Yeah, for sure. That's a
Oh
great talk.
yeah.
Very
Break
good.
that.
So what's going on with Devin? I've never met him. How old is he? And what does he do?
Devin's 36 now.
Is he that
37? Somewhere in there. He was working for Best Buys as a lead, whatever it was at the time. He has great skills for electronic stuff. Something I wish I had, but anyhow, that, and then his wife's parents and they have a business within their own business, and now he works for them as a project lead manager, setting up all of I guess the electrical, or the, what do you call it, the
Technology within the company.
the technology part of it. I apologize for not being up to speed on the terminology.
Don't apologize about anything. You're good.
Yeah.
For your age, you're doing good, buddy.
Or apparently 60.
Uh,
Right, so Jimmy is 60 and Billy's 40. Apparently, some weird Scott universe.
Thank you.
some weird Scott universe.
Oh yeah. That's
And
funny.
he's got one or two kids. Devin's
I'm
got.
sorry. What'd you
Devin's
say, Deb?
How many kids does Devin have?
Two daughters.
Two daughters.
Yeah, Oakley and Leia. I
Oh,
think
you remember?
he was all into Star Wars or something. I think. Oh, they're beautiful little ladies, man. They've been here 3 times.
Oh,
Stayed with
really?
us over the summer. They stay at the pool here and they swim around and all that stuff. And because we're located here in Lancaster, like right now it's like 38 degrees, snow in the mountains right here, and almost snow on the ground right here.
I
But
ain't coming out there until it gets warm now.
oh, well, when you get here, it'll be 105.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I ain't coming out there with no snow now.
No.
Deborah's bringing the heat.
Yeah. It's this place. We get all the seasons, believe it or not, and we're only 49 miles from downtown LA. So,
I'm going out to see cousin Jimmy in July.
yeah,
What city are you in again? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Lancaster,
Lancaster.
Lancaster Palmdale is what they call it,
Oh,
and
okay.
we're at the high end. My house is right in the main part of the little area here. The what do you call it? The housing development stuff. And if I open up the garage door right now, all I see is mountains and desert,
Wow,
just like that.
that's cool.
And I
Yeah.
love it because I can get my bike and go riding out in the desert, and then I can come back and get my guns. I can go out and shoot, come back, stuff like that.
What do you shoot?
Well,
Deer?
you mean? Oh well, no, I don't hunt deer anymore, and I hunt specifically elk. But in my lifetime, I've killed you name it. I pretty much have killed it. So I haven't killed a
And-
caribou yet.
Killed it and ate it?
Oh yeah. Oh no. If I shoot it, other than a coyote, I eat and a prairie dog. I don't eat prairie dogs, but I've eaten coon. Oh, and I didn't want to eat. I won't eat possum. I don't kill possums anyway. But I killed coon. I killed rabbit, squirrel, and then.
So you
going-
eat raccoon?
Oh yeah. I've eaten
You
raccoon
never
right there in
Coon?
Springfield.
Coon?
Huh?
He ain't never had heard of eating coon? Coon
Yeah, man.
is
I eat
good.
coon. I mean the one that's furry and the little rat tail.
Not Clarence Thomas.
Not that coon.
Burn.
yeah.
Yeah. So. Oh yeah. So yeah, but I've killed bear. I've killed a moose. Mainly elk now. I've killed more than my share of antelope and deer. I don't like antelope, so I don't.
He
hunt
killed
them anymore.
Bambi. He killed Bambi.
Me and Bambi, good meat. That's good eat. But Rita doesn't like venison, so I don't hunt deer anymore. And then she does like elk, and moose is good, real good. So, and it's better for you than domestic beef because it's lean. It doesn't have all that cholesterol stuff built up in it.
Yeah, but the best part of a steak is the fat. Like the ribeye is the best thing that you can eat.
In
Wagyu
the restaurant
beef-
business, we call it marbling. We don't use the F word. It's called
Oh, I'm
marbling.
sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, a lot of marbling in the domestic food.
But
Not
Right.
in-
So
not in the wild
I'm the arrogant one, right?
that meat that
You
you're
still are.
eating, is been pumped full of chemicals. What Jimmy's eating is pure. It's fresh, and there's a difference.
Yeah, no.
So what do you do when
hormones
you
or
have a
anything
whole an entire moose and like what do you?
Oh no.
You
When I killed the moose, I killed that moose. I was in Canada. I had an Indian guide, and the moose was well over 1,100 pounds. There's no way I was going to be bringing back that kind of meat. It would take me 10 years to eat it all. So they can't hunt
Family over.
as a guide until their hunting season is over. Then they try to go out and get it. A lot of times, because the moose and stuff have been pushed and shot at and everything, they sometimes have a difficult getting meat. So I gave them about 3/4 of what I got, and I brought back a little over 200 pounds of meat for myself,
Wow.
which
But
is
who-
quite
who-
Who gutted it? And
Me.
you
Me.
did.
Yes. Oh well, both of us. It took two, because they're so big. It took both of us to do that. But and same with elk. But deer, antelope, I do all that, and including elk. I've dressed out more than a few elk. Gut it,
Wow.
skin it,
He's a for real
and then
hunter.
hang it, quarter it out, and then hang it up, and then.
He's a for real hunter. We argue
That-
about that all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I've been out there where we spent the night, and I'd eat liver and heart right there for dinner. So look at
So
Debbie. Yuck, yuck, yuck.
I'll never come
Oh.
to your house for dinner.
I tell you what, I
Reed
never
is a
had.
good cook. Reed is a
I
good
never
cook.
hunted a mountain lion, and nor would I want to. But a friend of mine that lives in Colorado, he and I were in Vietnam together, by the way. He invites me to his ranch. He's been here even, but anyhow, he hunts them, and he had some mountain lion he wanted me to try, and I said, "No, man, I ain't eating no cat." But anyway, he talked me into it after a few drinks, and I said, "Okay," I tried it. Man, that was some good eating. But I still won't kill a cat. I mean, they're too beautiful.
How many drinks did it take for you to try mountain lion?
I stopped counting after 6.
There you go.
That's another Scott trait.
Exactly.
Yeah. Who counts? You know? Who counts?
But that was back when I drank. I don't drink anymore.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Did you stop after the heart attack or before?
Actually, believe it or not, I used to smoke my pipe all the time.
Mhm.
Everybody recognized me in my pipe. I drank. My favorite drink is Remy Martin, VSOP, cognac, and
Hennessy.
I will drink some Johnny Walker. I don't do that much. I mean, not anymore anyway. But so I stopped just before the heart attack hit me.
Okay.
They already had told me to stop smoking the pipe, but I said, I don't, my lungs are clear. They couldn't, they said, wow, how do you do that? But anyhow, I swore off the pipe. I don't smoke the pipe anymore. I will drink a little bit with CJ and my other son, Scotty, Rita's son. We all sit out on the back patio by the pool, and they drink. And I'll have wine. I will drink wine. They told me red wine is good
Mine's
for me.
good for you.
So I will have a small glass of wine, or I'll have a shot of Remy. So I still have my Remy, and I'll do that. They'll smoke cigars and drink, and I just sit there and listen to them, and we'll talk. We rap a while.
I've never gotten into cigars. Bill, you?
I have, yes. I enjoy it because it takes a time. It's not in a hurry. You might as well have a
Yeah.
cocktail while you're doing it, and there's lots of talking going on.
Oh
And-
yeah, that's it.
My youngest may or may not have had a couple cigars with me on a given occasion.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
your youngest smoking a cigar. Ah.
I
You know, I spend like a ton on my cologne. And so I just feel like when you smoke a cigar, you just end up smelling like it.
You can smoke anything, you're gonna smell like it. So
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah. Even when I smoke my pipe, I smell like tobacco.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it does
so-
stick
so-
with you if you do it enough. But
Yeah.
And then I
you
would
know,
never do it in the
I-
house.
There's my son CJ travels all over the world pretty much, right? And
Yeah.
he's got guys that work for him and with him that do the same thing, and he gets these illegal cigars, I guess you call it. But man, I did have one. I said, this is, if I was back to smoking, I'd be getting some of these. But I didn't realize how much they cost either. So I said, hell with that.
What does CJ do?
CJ is he'll tell you when he gets on. He's been promoted up. He's like the regional director of operations for Circle K.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
All right.
cool.
All right.
He's I mean, he's phenomenal. I'll put it like that. I don't mean to brag. on him.
Circle K just hit the Chicago market just like last year, and now
Yeah,
they're
as a
everywhere.
matter of fact, he's been up there. And
Yeah.
when he was in Ohio just a little bit ago with Tony, and Devin. They were all went out. They sent me pictures of it and it made me feel bad because I wanted to go. Couldn't make it.
Yeah, he told me he's in Tampa today, I think.
CJ is?
Yeah, he's in Tampa now, or he's flying back today, because I wanted him on this show, and he couldn't do it because he was in Tampa, and he said he gets out to Florida all the time.
What happened?
So, to who?
Yeah. Oh,
Wait,
I
did you
lost you
lose
guys
him?
for a second there.
Yeah, you froze up for a little bit. It's all good. We're still here, cousin.
Yeah.
No, so
We
so I
tried
said
to-
TJ
Dang, I don't
CJ
know.
was in Tampa, and then he's going to be on next week because that's why he couldn't be on this show today.
Yeah. Right. He travels a ton. He's in
And
the
so
air
he's-
all the time.
Yeah, he said next time. So next time he's in my area, we're going to go to dinner or something.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's,
Are you in Miami?
and he's
Or are you outside of Miami?
So how the best way to explain it? So
I know it seems like a really clear question. I don't understand.
no.
Give me time.
It's not clear. So Jimmy will understand this. All right. So Los
Okay.
Angeles has LAX, and they have the Long Beach Airport,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
So Miami has the Miami Airport and the Fort Lauderdale Airport.
Oh, okay.
Same. It's
Right.
same thing, right? So
Right.
I live in the middle
Okay.
in Hollywood. So
Okay, so but you're not actually in the city of Miami.
of Miami, right? But
I'm not in Atlanta, but I'm in the Atlanta area.
right.
Chicago, you're
Right.
not
Same thing.
in Chicago, you're in the Chicago area. A lot
Yeah.
of people don't understand that because like Jimmy's not really in LA, but
No,
Right.
he's in the
But
LA
it's-
area.
but I'm LA County.
Yeah.
I'm in
Right.
the county of LA.
Deborah, that made so much sense. Thank you for clarifying. It's really cut and dry.
That's why I'm here, bro.
I
That's why
fucking
I
hate you.
have to, decipher stuff for these two people here so that the regular people can understand their talk.
So I'm 15. I'm 10 minutes to Miami. I'm 5 minutes to Fort Lauderdale,
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
and then South Beach is different, right? So I live near the beach, but I live inland. So all the beaches in Miami, it's on an island.
Yeah.
So I can see the beach, but I have to go over a bridge to get there. So I'm on the marina side.
Yeah.
And then you go over the bridge, and then you're at the
Hey,
beach.
cousin, I have a serious question.
Mm.
If you wore handcuffs, would you be able to talk?
What?
Did you read that? Oh
You're
my goodness.
such an asshole. Like,
Oh, really? That was cold shot, bro. That was cold shot.
That was
Oh, that was sweet. That was
That's
sweet.
good. You did good. You did good. Yeah. That DNA was coming out strong then.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
speaking of which, Rita and I'll be in Miami next. Was it January? I think March or April of next year. We're celebrating one of my bucket lists. We're going to the
Gas crew.
gas cruise.
Yeah.
Oh,
A lot of
nice.
You said
What's
nice.
that?
nice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Is that the one put on by who's doing it?
I'm sideline to Jim because he's in trouble.
Yeah, I think it's part of Sirius XM stuff.
Okay.
They
All right.
advertise but I've always wanted to do. We love cruising. We cruise a lot. Well, we have not the last couple of years, but we used to go a lot, especially me. But now my bucket list was to have one time with the jazz cruise for I think it's 7 days, and we looked up.
Where are you going?
we're just coming out of Miami, and then we're going
know,
wherever they go.
He doesn't
Rita's taking care of the whole thing.
know. Wait, I don't even know why you asked him. He don't know.
Oh, okay.
He just drives.
Yeah, right on. Because I have nothing to do with it. That's all. That's all
Honestly,
my big hat.
yesterday I
Wait,
was meeting Donna someplace, and someone at the bar asked, "So, what are your plans this weekend?" And I said, "Whatever she tells me we're doing is what we're doing." I have no idea.
Amen. Amen.
Ask her.
So this Donna seems pretty serious.
So far, so good.
Don't
Yeah.
say that while she's in the room.
And she has a knife too.
He can hear you, Billy.
Sorry.
Don't ask those kind of questions like that.
Okay, so I shouldn't go any further than that.
No, you did fine. Just leave it alone.
Come here, Bruno. Come here.
Uh-oh, is that one of them horses that you have?
Mm-hmm. Come here. Come here. Come here.
Is that your
Come
puppy?
here. Yeah, look at him.
Yeah, I had. Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's a
Ooh,
big
that's a
boy.
nice one.
And
Yeah.
he thought he was gonna bring it in my house.
Look at one of Billy's dogs.
Yeah, I got two big
Oh.
ones.
Okay, so
Oh, geez,
who wants to see the dog?
yeah, I want to see the dog.
Yeah, we want to see
all
the
right.
dog.
He's laying down now. You know, he's
okay.
an Akita, and Akitas are. Do you guys know about Akitas? They're very stubborn.
Not much.
I have no.
Yeah,
No more than a pug.
yeah, they're very stubborn. So he
I am a cat.
he didn't want to stand up here, so I had to move the camera to him, and now he's laid down behind me, so he ain't getting back up.
Do you just
I
have the
agree.
one?
We lost audio, Billy.
Didn't you used to have two?
I lost audio.
Lost audio.
I can hear
You can
him.
hear me now?
I can hear you. Yeah.
I can hear him.
Oh, Billy
You
can't hear
lost audio. We can hear him.
Can you hear me, Billy?
Yeah,
Bill Scott. Bill
Oh,
Scott.
maybe it's time to wrap it up then.
it's you.
It's you.
We can hear each other.
We can hear. You can.
Yeah. Sign language.
It's on you. You can't hear.
So far, so good.
Here,
Right on a piece of paper that he's the one that can't hear.
I'll text him.
He's probably mad at me somehow.
Yeah,
I don't know.
this is too
Maybe
funny.
it's me. Maybe titles.
So,
No,
Have you texted him?
I can't hear. No.
Hey, he ain't even looking. Bill.
yeah, but the screen might be
Do
gone
you like
too.
Italian sausage?
Yeah, I do. All right. It's fine. I'll go to.
He can't hear.
I'm gonna go back to this other. Let's see. Where are they?
This is funny. He doesn't. He's not paying attention to. That shows you how.
No, he texted me. He said he couldn't hear.
Okay.
So
He'll be back.
anyway,
Who's gonna read?
Guess it's me.
yeah, it is you.
Yes, we can hear you, Bill Scott, but we can't see you anymore.
And this dum-dum's going to say something bad about us.
That's why he got cut
Oh,
off.
now he's gone.
Okay.
Yeah. So
It must be rebooting.
Yeah.
he's doing something. Debbie, you all are too funny.
That's our family. We have fun. We have fun. That's what it's all about.
There you go.
That's what it's all about. There he is. Can you
There
hear
you
it
go.
now?
Yeah,
We were talking to you, but you didn't hear a thing.
I didn't.
What happened?
I'm not sure. I had to exit and then go through the link again. I have no idea.
It's very interesting. So, Debbie flips her screen sideways and you mute yourself. Jimmy said he was the one that was technically challenged. He's the only one that's been fine the whole time.
That's because Rita's
Yeah.
back there.
Yeah. Yeah. If I go out, I ain't coming back.
We're just trying to test your moderator skills.
They're excellent. So tell us about Rita and how you met her. And
Well, that's
Yeah.
that's a real big story right there, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. That's
I was, as you know, I moved out here You be with my son. So I had no problem getting girlfriends when I got here. And
Okay.
well, she can tell you,
Yeah, me.
she had to ward them off. I'm talking about Debbie had to ward them off.
Yeah, I did.
You ought to have Rita on.
Yeah. No, you don't want Rita.
Well, no, not. Well, she knew. I mean, I met her. We both worked for the same company. All right. I
Uh-huh.
met her when I was dating around and stuff, and so we dated a couple of times. But I said to myself back when I first met her, and we've been dating for a minute or two. I said, if I ever got married, I'd marry. That would be the woman I would marry. Now, so this was what in 85 or 86, 1986. I met her.
Oh, right
So-
when I was born.
Yeah. So because when I go over to your mom's house and your house, I wasn't married. So
Right.
Anyhow, we were I missed a couple of dates with her, and she dropped me. She said, I'm done with you. So okay, so for few at least 2 years went by. Okay, and so I met Devin's mother, and I got her pregnant. So, but she did that because she thought I'd marry her, and I said, no, you're not who I'm marrying. I said, if I get married, I know who it'll be, and it won't be you. So anyhow,
Wow.
I
What
met
do you
this
mean?
other lady.
Hold on. No, wait. Hold on. Let's go back. Okay. So
I'm trying to get through this fast, man.
no. But so she did that because she thought you'd marry her. What did she do?
She told when I first met Devin's mother, she told me that she couldn't get pregnant, right? So I was doing protection all the way anyway. That
Right.
when that happened, she said no, and she'd been married for 10 or 11 years to her other husband, and they got divorced, and he remarried, and his wife they had a baby. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, so that's true. Long story short, I got her pregnant. Okay, she said to her girlfriend that she was going to get me to marry her, and the only way to do that was to have a baby, right? And the reason why I know that, her girlfriend told me that she had set me up. And that's what she told me, right? So I said, okay, that really tightened my jaws. But anyhow, that's another story. So with that, I stopped messing with her. But I always told my boy Devin that he'd know his daddy. Every single day I was with him, and CJ, they ran together. So anyhow, I met this other lady who was a lawyer, lived in Palos Verdes.
Nice.
A beautiful woman, but she was possessive, and she had to know where I was every single minute of the day. So I said, nah, that ain't gonna happen. So I took her out to dinner and told her that we needed to kind of separate for a while. So she started crying, and this is a beautiful white girl. So, and this place is loaded with white people, and they're looking over at me like, I said, okay, I'm gonna have to shoot some people before I get out of here. Looks like so. But anyway, we left. But the thing here's again, when we left the place, we were in her car, and she had a 928 Porsche, and so she was taking me home, and I lived in Carson. So you come out of on the PCH from the chart house, and you turn right to go back south to Carson. You turn left to go to Ventura, and Highway 101 back then was a very dangerous highway, very curvy, cliffs to the ocean and all that. We pulled out. She's still crying. She pulls out to turn right. She turned left. So we go into Ventura. So she's going 130, 140 miles an hour.
Wow.
Chain going into the other lane, and both. So she's crying. I'm crying. I'm begging.
Why are you crying?
Because he's scared.
Because I didn't want to die. How do you mean, why am I crying? I was crying like a baby, man. So anyway, long story short, I calmed her
Why are you
down. We
barking?
went back to the house. And after that, I told her, I'll see you in the morning. And that was it. That night, I said, I'm through. I'm not going to be dating anybody else. I'm not going to do this. I said, I'm going to go and just be single. I ain't going to mess with women for a while.
You need to stop it.
A couple of weeks later, I I woke up in the middle of the night, and this voice said, "You're going to go marry Rita." Now, this was November of 1990. Okay, I
So I
went
was
to
4.
work. Yeah, the next day I went to work. I went down. She was the quality supervisor for the F-15, F-14, all the programs, actually same as me, but I was up in what they call Mahogany Row, the management section, and she was down with the workers. So I went down to her area, which I hadn't seen her in 2 years, hadn't been with her for 2 years. So I went down to where she works, walked up, and she looked. Her girlfriend and her were together. They were working on some kind of radar system that they were going to ship out. Her girlfriend looks up and she says, "Oh, look who's here." So Rita turns around and she goes, "What the hell are you doing down in my area?" So I mean, I'm a upper level manager. I could be anywhere in that building I wanted to. So I just said,
Right.
check this out. So I looked at her and I said, "Well, last night the Lord came to me and told me that we're getting married." She looked at me, she said, "The Lord didn't come and tell me that." And so she said, "I am not marrying a non-Christian man." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "You're not a Christian man." I said, "What do I got to do to be a Christian man?" She said, "You don't even go to church." I said, "What church you go to?" She said, "No, that ain't how this works." So she said, "No, I'm not. Don't bother me." I said, "We're getting married." And then I left. I had to go do my job and everything. So that week, this is crazy. That week, I had to fly to Korea. I flew to Korea, was in Korea for a whole week. Then I went back to Japan, was in Japan for a whole week. Then I came back to the States, right? So we was opening up another shop for the F-15 program. So I went back down to where she was at, and I told her, "Hey, thought about this? We're getting married." She said, "Get the hell out of here. We're not getting married." She was stone serious. Now, this is December of 90. And so I said, "Okay, what I got to do to be a Christian?" She said, she told me again. I said, "What church you go to?" She said, "I go to the Church of God in Christ." I said, "Okay." I said, "Where's that?" So she told me. I went. The next Sunday, I got dressed up. I was looking sharp, Daddy. And I went in. Of course, I always look pretty sharp. But anyhow, I went in. And she's an usher.
I'm the arrogant one.
No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe it's in the family. I don't know.
She was an usher. So I went to where she would put me in the chair, right? So I went over to her to be seated, and she left. Went to another place, said the other lady come over and set me down. 3 Sundays in a row, 3 weeks in a row, she would not have nothing to do with me. So the 4th Sunday I went, this is a whole month now, I went and sat down. I said, "I know how to get her." So I sit down at the church. There's a lady named Darlene. Yeah, Darlene was her name. Beautiful little girl. We went through the service and everything. And at the end of the service, I looked over her and I said, "How would you like to go to breakfast with me?" She said, "I never thought you that."
Darlene?
Yeah.
Darlene. So Darlene, I made sure Rita could see this. Darlene and I hooked up, and I walked her out all proud, walked out, took her to breakfast. And so I said, okay, so the next following Sunday, I started seeing Darlene. The next following Sunday, I come back to church with Darlene. So we leave. So and then I looked at Rita, and Rita gave me this evil eye. But I told Darlene that Sunday, I said, I really am looking to marry somebody else. And she said, oh no, no way. She says, my job to make sure that you don't want nobody but me. I said, okay, go for it. So
Darlene said that?
Darlene said that to me. So Darlene, she skis. So this is when your mother's friend, CJ, and a few other folks met Joyce and Harry up at Snowbird. So she went.
Yeah.
So we stayed together, came back. Well, while I was gone, my house caught on fire.
What?
I left my robe hanging anyway. That's another story. Anyway, so
That's
when I
another
got
story.
back, I found out, I said, oh my goodness, what happened? So I had to stay in a hotel.
Give
This
me 1
is-
second. Give me 1 second, Jimmy. Bill needs to get off.
Oh,
So I want to allow him to give his final thoughts.
Yes, go ahead. Sorry. I didn't mean to carry it.
I actually need to hit. I need to hear the end of the story, so it's all good.
Okay.
All right, real quick, Bill.
wait, you
So
can
what
claim
happened
your
was-
time later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I got back, I had to stay in a hotel real quick, and what happened was this is January of 1991. January. My phone rings in my hotel. I pick it up, and it was Rita. And so Rita said, how in the world are you going to marry me with that little lady you've been with? And I told her right then and there, I said, are you serious? I said, I'll call her right now and tell her we're through. And she said, well, if you expect to marry me, that's what you're going to have to do. I said, okay. I hung up. I called Darlene. Darlene said, oh, no, Libby, I got to come over. Then I said, no, Darlene, I'm not going to be like that. I said, I told you. I said, it's happened. She called me. She wants to marry me. She said, no way she going to marry you. That's a setup. I said, well, if it is, it's shame on me. I said, but that's what I wanted. So check this out. That was January of 1991. The next day, Rita and I hooked up and started, going out and being real nice to her and all that stuff. And then June 1991, June 15, 1991, we were husband and wife.
Wow.
That's it. I mean, there was more to it than that. But
There's more to it, but that's the short version.
So I have one question for you, just one. So when you took the woman to dinner to tell her that you weren't going to date her anymore, right?
Right.
Why did you get in her car to begin with?
Because she took me there. And I live a long way from.
Why didn't you tell her after
Right,
dinner?
but
There's no way I was going to walk back.
no, but what I'm saying
why
is,
would you get in the car with her in the first place?
yeah,
Well, no,
Jimmy, that's
I-
stupid.
That's right. That's right.
Like
I
Really?
gotta say it. I'm not all.
Really?
I would have met her there. I would have.
Billy, you have
That
to.
ain't how it happened, though.
Jimmy doesn't-
That ain't how it happened.
Jimmy
I
doesn't,
didn't realize that.
Jimmy
I didn't
doesn't
realize
think through things. Okay,
I didn't
Oh.
realize that she was that felt that
You
way.
Scott
about
man, I tell you.
that's right. Scott men are
it. I'm
slow.
sorry, Billy. I'll try to
Men
shorten it as fast as I could.
I thought you
Donna's
knew
agreeing.
Before Jimmy, hold on, Billy. Before you leave, I just wanted to tell you I'm gonna be in Chicago May 15th.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll make sure you get my number.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I
Okay.
just wanted to let you know that before. I'll be there for about 4 or 5 days.
Okay. Awesome.
All right.
And you're gonna buy him dinner.
Yeah. I
I'm
will.
buying you dinner. What are you talking about?
I'll buy you dinner.
No.
We'll go. What is it you call 50-50?
There you go.
That's true.
She's sitting on a pile of money, Billy.
No,
Don't.
No, I'm not. Yeah, you talking to an old retired lady, okay? I've been retired for 21 years. 22 years. I've been retired for 22.
We can talk about Billy in more detail.
There you go, Bill. There you go.
about how great it is that I am bringing all of us together every week,
That's a
That
good
is
point.
great. Thank
That's
you.
a good point.
Yeah. We
and
appreciate it.
and different people from different phases in our generation.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
it's awesome.
I mean, yeah, it really is, and it's fun.
Right.
So Kenneth said that Jimmy kicked Darlene to the curb to be with Rita.
Yep, I sure did.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
So what changed Rita's mind about wanting to marry you?
She was gonna marry him all
Oh,
along.
well,
She
she
was gonna
wanted
make
to
him
be her
marry.
girlfriend. Actually, the real person to tell the story would be her, because she knows all the background that brought her around to me.
Oh,
But part of it was her.
I want to
seeing
hear that.
that little lady.
That's a good.
Yeah.
So, Jimmy,
Well,
basically,
you know-
you were a player, is what you're
Yeah, I was,
saying.
and that's
Yeah,
Debbie.
good enough.
I
Damn.
was gonna say that.
Ask Debbie. Ask Debbie. She can tell you.
Don't let.
She had to beat off the ladies when I went to see her.
I had to bodyguard him out of a event that we were at. Seriously, I had to bodyguard him.
Damn, player.
Player.
In
Yeah,
Cincinnati.
I
Because
couldn't-
Jimmy got the pimp hand.
but Bill, the thing about it is he didn't realize what he was doing. And that's why it was so funny, because he's just
He didn't realize what.
he didn't realize what was those women were fighting over him, literally, and he had no clue. He had no clue.
Because Scott men are dumb
I was gonna say Scott slow.
or slow.
Well, I was with my cousin.
Chrissy
I
was
was
the same way. Chrissy was the same way. Had the same problem with Chrissy. Slow.
Yeah. That's
Well,
back
this
when
has
we were
been-
young and dumb.
You weren't young. Not young.
Bill,
Okay, Bill, we're gonna let you go because you got
All right.
things to do. Love you.
final thoughts. You want to say anything
Final thoughts,
before you leave?
I absolutely love my family. But in all honesty, this forum is amazing, and I give you total props. This is awesome. Really.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I didn't
Well, thank
invite
Debbie
you.
for showing me.
you reached out to me and said, I want to be on. And so I said, okay.
Yeah, well, I talked to my cousin.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
told me, and I
and-
got to see it.
So
Yeah.
you were always in my mind, always going to be in the rotation. And it's just like Pooji said, he wanted you and him and
Billy?
Freddie.
Oh,
No,
Freddie.
Pooji.
Freddie.
Pooji wanted to be him, Jimmy, and Freddie. But
Don't forget Chris.
Yeah.
You, and Chris, but I don't want all the same people
Yeah.
on. I want people that don't know each other to learn from each other.
Yeah.
And I don't know, did you know Bill Scott? Well,
Who, me?
yeah.
I mean, we all around each other. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember
Okay.
him when he was only this, wasn't
you
very
forget
big.
we all grew up in
He's a
Springfield.
youngin'.
Yeah, because we had Buzz as the common denominator.
Yeah.
Buzz.
Right, that's right.
Right. Yeah. See, because Jimmy and Christy were real close.
Real
And,
close.
and we just all grew up together. Yeah, we knew each
Oh,
other.
really good.
We were around.
Sure.
Hey, no eating. No eating.
What are you eating?
Yeah, that looked good.
It's Italian sausage and peppers that Donna just made.
Oh,
So do I get to meet Donna?
yeah, bring Donna on.
I already put May 15th on the calendar.
She already put May 15th on the calendar, so yeah.
Thank you,
good.
Donna.
Donna is a
Forward to
keeper.
it.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
right. There you go, Bill.
All right, guys. Love you, family.
Good seeing you.
All right.
Everybody.
Talk to you later. Billy, I'll talk to you later. All right. Bye, guys.
All right.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
I'll send him your contact information, Debbie.
Thank you. Yeah, I was going to ask you to do that. Yeah, thanks.
I'm
You're
like,
back,
oh,
Bill.
You're back, Bill.
I'm trying to exit.
I'll
At
remove
first,
you.
he didn't want to. Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Now we can talk. No, I'm not just
And
kidding.
now
I'm
we
just
can really talk. No.
yeah, right. Yeah. That's good. That's good, William.
So-
That's really good.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Good.
letting me come in.
Do me a favor. Let other people know,
I have been.
because I don't know all of my cousins.
Yeah.
It's in fact my knowledge of it is very, very narrow.
Mhm.
I don't get invited to any of the family reunions.
That's
Why not?
because we went through that last. See, they don't have any information on him.
Yeah.
Therefore,
Otherwise, you do them.
he needs to give his email and address and everything to who does that? Who has that?
Probably. Now it's
Adrian.
Adrian. Thank you.
Adrian. Yeah.
David, Jimmy Jackson's daughter.
She's hosting the next family reunion.
Yeah,
And
she-
it's
and-
not
and-
in Springfield. It's going to be in Kansas City.
Kansas. Yeah.
Yeah, Kansas.
Wichita,
Kansas.
I think. Wichita, Kansas.
Wichita. Yeah, I think so. Wichita.
I think so.
Oh,
I'll be with them
sounds,
Wednesday.
that sounds
We-
very
we-
exciting. Wichita, Kansas.
And matter of fact, I'll talk. Well, Debbie and Billy don't get along, so
Don't say that. Don't say
I'm
that.
sorry. I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry.
Oh, Jimmy,
Yes.
I want Billy Jackson on with Pooji.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I'll let him know. Because
Okay.
yeah, listen to her. She's going nuts. That should be interesting. I want to be on that one.
Oh
Listen,
my God. Bill, you won't have to say a thing. If you get too much, just sit back and relax.
just sit back and let it roll.
Because Debbie actually was the one who said you should do it, and she said, but don't invite anybody else on between the two of them.
It's fine.
So
Well, I'll
So
talk
I-
to him Wednesday. Oh no,
I
I
wanted
won't.
to-
I won't.
Billy does a Zoom meeting on Wednesdays and Saturdays
Wednesday.
with the family.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
He has one every Wednesday with us, and that's mainly. I'm the only one consistent Scott in the Jackson group and Osby's. So, because when we have the reunion, it's Jackson, Osby, Scott, which used to be Scott, Jackson, Osby.
Used to
And
be
they
Scott.
switch it around.
Period.
But I said, hey, whatever.
It
You
used
know,
to be
it's family.
Scott. Period. Okay?
Yep. I know it, Scott.
So Jimmy, why is it that the Scots are so close, and we're all related, but it's rare that the Jacksons are included in some of our stuff?
No,
That's not true.
that's
That's
not the way
not
it
true.
is.
No,
No,
Okay.
no. Well, here's where I'm coming from, and Debbie probably can tell it better than me. A lot of our Scots who really were the catalyst of us all getting together have pretty much gone away. Have passed. Okay, that's one. And then second, when we were little, there was only a few of us that were close. Debbie, Ellen, Mary Elizabeth, Chrissy, and then me.
Billy and David. And Billy and
Pardon?
David. And
And
Billy.
Billy and David. Because that picture that has us all on in those steps was the group. Okay. And even Pooji was there, but he was not
Pooji was the
really
oldest. He
part
was
of
the
the
oldest of
group.
that group. He was the
Right.
oldest of that group.
Yeah, he was the oldest of the group. And so anyhow, we were very close, but then things happened. We like me, Chrissy, Pooji left. He went to Ohio. I went to California. Then I went to Vietnam. Chrissy went to Vietnam. My sisters, they were doing whatever they did, and I wasn't even that close to my own family, my siblings, when I left. okay, to start with. But I always came back home, especially for the reunions, okay, just so I could be around them. And I always clicked with my cousin, but mainly Debbie and Ellen. Seriously, I mean, those were. Without that, I probably would
My
not
big
have come back.
brother. He and
Yeah.
Christy were my big brothers. They were my
Yes.
brothers. But
Yeah,
I can
and
tell you one thing that came into play with that. You have to understand the Jacksons Aunt Myrtle started having children 2 months after my dad was born.
Yeah,
So there's a humongous age difference in
Okay.
that. Okay.
that's the other thing. Yes.
And there were a lot of them. Aunt Myrtle had, I believe it was 10. There's 10 kids. She had 10 kids.
Oh yeah.
So age difference wise, it kind of, made it difficult for us cousins, us younger cousins, to interact with them because they were in my dad's age group. Okay.
Right.
So
Yeah.
what happened as the family started aging, they started having their own. They started pulling more towards. They populated more than the Scots did because there were more of them.
Of them. Right. That's true.
So I'm not going to go because this is a public thing. I'm not going to go into.
Yeah. Right.
It a little something happened and they took over, and that's when it became Jackson Osby Scott instead of Scott.
Right. But Ivan and I spent a lot of time together.
You played
We
basketball.
were in the service together.
Yeah, y'all
He
played
was
basketball.
the coach of the basketball team I was on. So that
There-
and then
There was a lot of age discrepancy with them and the rest of us.
Right.
So.
correct. Yeah.
So, how many so those are all Mary Jane's brothers, right?
Yeah, Mary.
Yes.
Yeah, because Mary Jane and Caroline.
Caroline. Yeah.
There
Or
were
sisters.
2 girls out of
Yes.
all
The rest of them were boys.
2 girls. Yeah, the rest of
Yeah,
them were boys.
Bobby,
And there's
Donnie.
only 3 of them living today.
yeah.
There's only 3 of them.
Only 3. So Billy, Donnie, and
Billy, and David.
David.
okay.
Yeah, out of the
Alright.
2, there's only 3 of them living.
Yeah,
And
Lionel,
Donnie's the patriarch of us right now.
correct.
Barbara is the matriarch.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, when Joyce passed, Barbara became the matriarch.
Yes.
Which again, I'm going to say this, but I think it's good for us to be doing this
Mm-hmm.
because, we're going to have to start passing the torch,
Right. Right.
and keeping our history alive and talking about, how not to break up with a woman. That
Thanks a lot. Let's go. Brother.
That's your contribution to this, Jimmy.
that's the dumbest thing
Yes,
I've heard. And you sitting there crying.
In the
Hey,
car
I'm
with the
sorry,
lady going
man.
100 miles, and Jesus done told you I don't want to have no parts of you, and he goes,
Learn not to go
Like-
with a woman that you're gonna break up with. That's what you do.
really, how not to lose your life.
Right? I didn't want to die.
I did not want to die.
like
I
like
mean,
that scene from Mahogany when Diana Ross was pulling her hair and stuff.
That was Jimmy sitting over in the passenger seat in a car he shouldn't have been in the first place.
I love you. I love you. I was just joking. It was a joke.
No, I told her. I said I didn't realize you loved me so much. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't remember all I said, but whatever it was, it calmed her down. And I ended up driving back to my house. I finished the drive. So. Yeah, but that was back when I was young, and
You wasn't young.
I was about to say the same thing.
You were not young when that happened. Don't you try that.
You were probably 50.
No, he was younger than that. He
I
was
was 40.
50 when
I think I was 45, 46, somewhere in there, 47,
Yeah.
50.
That ain't young. Billy,
But I didn't look my age, you know. I didn't look my age.
No.
hey Billy, own up to your age. Be proud that you're at the
I
age.
am. Oh, I tell everybody in a
I
minute.
said
I'm 80
Billy.
years old.
Said Billy, not Jimmy. Jimmy,
Debbie, mind your business.
own up to your no. I'm serious about this. Own up to your age. Own up.
I will.
Oh yeah, I do. I don't. Hey man, I'm proud of people's
yeah,
old.
yeah. Be proud of
Part,
your.
part of it is I'm actually on a job search, right? And ageism really is a thing when
Yes.
you're looking for a job. And so one of the reasons why I started my podcast is because my resume is so vast, and people might look at it and think this guy's old. But I wanted to do the podcast so people can see my personality and see that I'm not like, you know,
Well,
an old.
So why would you have your cousins on and know that we would expose you?
well, wait a minute though, Billy. Listen, here's first of all, I just heard you say your resume is vast. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Make that resume a one pager, short, skill sets.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. That's
Because
true.
I had to go through thousands of resumes, and if I had a resume come in that was more than a page,
Mhm.
I usually didn't even mess with it.
Mhm. That is the truth. That
But
is
right now, you know, right now it's kind of, well, my resume is, I think it's a page and a half,
that's
but
good.
Okay.
and
The
it's
idea-
broken down into skills, and then
Yeah.
at the end it has the companies I've worked with and for how long.
Well, you
Because
yeah. Well,
like
I haven't seen it, but the key to this thing is to get in the door and have the interview. The first
Right.
thing they do is they look at that resume to see if it's worthy of
To
them
get it.
even asking you to come in. And
Yeah.
when that happens, if it's anything like where I had to go through, they would do a bunch of screening. If there was a resume that had a page and a half, if it was real good, they might have sent it to me. And they tell me to look at that resume because they knew that if it was more than a page, I
You weren't gonna
slide
look at
on
it.
over. Yeah, I wouldn't touch it.
I've
So the main thing you want to do is identify the main skill sets of where you want to go. Elaborate on the one that's your strongest, but keep it in one page, small paragraph, and then hopefully that will get you in the door. Then once you sit down, then you can elaborate.
yeah.
So
That's
so
what you want.
here's my struggle, and it really is a struggle. I'm an entrepreneur and a startup guy, so I've had my hand in every single part of an operation. So I've been responsible for like 3 company moves, build outs. I've created a customer service team in Beverly Hills. I opened up an office in Israel, created that whole operation there, and then in India. And then I left there and did another startup, did the entire HR systems, the customer service systems, the back end platform that we use to support the company. And then I own my own e-commerce company. So each one of those are different. First of all, each one of those were emerging growth industries that did not come with the blueprint. So online dating at the time was new. People weren't doing it like they are today.
Correct.
And we built that company from 0 to a $250 million company. And then I went from there. The company was a video sharing social network. That's what TikTok is right now. But that was in 2007. So that was, again, in the forefront. And I've never worked for a company where I came in and was handed a blueprint. I created the blueprint. And then e-commerce,
that's a skill.
I know.
That's a major skill set. I mean, of all the things you are talking about, the main thing is you developed the blueprint that was successful in the processes that made each one of those steps successful. So
My
think about it.
Can I ask
my
you a
my
question,
my
Billy?
my team was featured in Forbes magazine as the key differentiator in our company. And
Can
it was every area that I created, and I created it from just a thought in my head.
Can I
Go
ask
ahead,
you a
Debbie.
question, Billy? Can I ask you a question, Billy?
Of course.
Do you want to get back into corporate America, or would you rather continue being the entrepreneur?
Right now,
Because there's a difference in that.
right now, I'd rather be in a company either that is a startup that's looking for someone to really lead, or corporate. I don't know if I want to be an entrepreneur right now because I need cash. And so when you're an entrepreneur,
Yeah,
it's going to be 6 months before I start seeing
any kind
any
of
cash flow.
yeah.
So I do have things like a paid partnership that's related to my podcast with ADP and with CoAdvantage. So I get, if I get someone to sign up, then I get residual payments every month, as long as that company's with ADP and or CoAdvantage, which long term, could be my retirement plan, because
if you can build the podcast up to where it can pay you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
So someone's asking, Kenneth Dunner is asking if Jimmy Scott's teeth are real.
That's
No.
another story.
False.
That's another story.
No,
Are
these
they?
are not real. These are not real.
And tell them when and how you
It's an AI. What you see is done by AI.
Shut up.
Uh-oh.
There you go. There you go. Upside down.
See, I don't know what she I don't know how she does it.
Hey, it didn't touch anything. But in fact, I'm getting low mode but that's a whole nother podcast for you to hear the story about how Jimmy lost his teeth. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So you're running low
Yeah, I am.
on energy, and we've been on for 2 hours.
Yeah, we did this
Yep.
last.
2 hours, 18 minutes, 29 seconds, 30 seconds.
Yep. And what I love about this is it never seems like it's that long.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't.
So this has been a really great show. Jimmy, your assignment is to get me more cousins. Debbie, you too.
I've been passing the word. I've been passing the word around. I talked to George White yesterday too. So.
Oh yeah.
So how about George, Poogie, and Billy Jackson?
Yeah. Hey, listen to her.
I told you I won't come on. Billy, we go out.
You read what Kenneth just said?
Wait,
You lied.
Jimmy, we could go out and have
William,
dinner.
you lied. He didn't ask that.
Yeah.
This is
call,
what he said. That's what he said, actually.
Yes, that's what he said. You did the rest. Just like a Scott
Yeah.
would. In your case, a Rochelle.
Well, I'm tired of being sideways, and I'm going to kiss my cousins goodbye.
Yeah, we're gonna check out.
Love you, baby. Can't wait to see you in person.
You got 2 months. Wait a minute.
I
You
know,
got
I'm
3
preparing.
months. Get ready, okay? 3
I'm
months.
preparing.
Billy, I will see you. Well, no, next week.
I might come down to. I told Mom if she has a memorial in May, I might come down for that.
I'm not.
Yeah, you know what? Oh no, I mean, dang, I got another tournament. 2 tournaments in there.
Well, hey, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
All right, Jimmy.
All right,
Love you, man.
Same here.
Love you, Debbie.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye. Bye, little sis.
Bye.
Bye.